Stand over here.
It's a tough act to follow. However, I am about to get some serious street cred when I get my picture taken with our next sound radio. And I say this as a transplanted New Yorker and a Yankee fan. And for 2004 and 2007, if you didn't hear the Dropkick Murphys, Tessie, or Shipping Up to Boston, you must have been under a rock. And they also happen to be two of my favorite songs. And if you ever get an opportunity to see Dropkick Murphys and Ken Casey live and in concert, do not miss that opportunity. When I moved to Boston in 2000, friends of mine said, you really got to listen to this band, and you got to see them live. And I became a not so closeted fan of the Dropkicks, and when I was told that I was going to have an opportunity to present this award to him, I'm as excited as I could possibly be. So, in any event, the Dropkick Murphys are known for their classic punk rock, Celtic folk, and American rock and roll sound. They are critically acclaimed. They've released 8 full-length albums in the studio, and they've sold more than 6 million copies worldwide since hitting the music scene in 1996. An integral part of Boston's cultural identity, they've headlined at Fenway Park. That was 2 good shows. And have a long history of supporting workers' rights and union causes. The band is celebrating its 20th year and is working on a new album. Their music has provided them with the stage to help children. It's a common theme tonight. In 2009, Dropkick Murphys frontman Ken Casey established the Claddagh Fund. It's a charity focused on raising money for nonprofits that support at-risk populations in Boston and Philadelphia. Committed to the 3 attributes symbolized in the Claddagh ring, friendship, love, and loyalty, the Claddagh Fund raises money for children's and veterans organizations and drug and alcohol recovery programs, including the Boys and Girls Club of Dorchester, the Cushing House, a residential recovery center for teens, and Ostagai High School, an alternative high school for children recovering from addiction. To date, more than $2 million has been awarded to various charities, and they and their families and fans also put their money where their mouth is and put their time involved as well, because they volunteer with the charities as well. The band plays shows for the students at the Franciscan Hospital for Children who are developmentally and physically challenged, and every December they collect and wrap gifts for the families supported by My Brother's Keeper, a nonprofit that delivers furniture and food to local families in need. But perhaps my favorite Dropkick Murphy story, and I think it's something that I witnessed live, and it's perhaps the best story that I can come up with to give you a sense of what kind of fighting, generous spirit that these guys bring to the stage, was a few years ago when the Bruins were playing the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals. Ken was out there in support of another charity and children's cause and volunteered his time to go to Chicago and perform live in a show just outside the friendly confines of Wrigley. And this happened to be the night before, I believe it was Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So Ken steps up on the stage, and there is a packed house, the club was the Metro, and there were several hundred people in there, many of whom were sporting their Blackhawks jerseys. So Ken, being a good Boston guy, gets up there, and his opening song to the crowd was Time to Go. Now, for those of you who don't know the words to Time to Go, there is a chorus to that gets sung rather loudly and with much enthusiasm, again, particularly on that night. But the chorus goes, "Go, go, black and gold," and it's about the Bruins. And he didn't apologize, he didn't back down, and he knocked it out, and by the end of the song, they were all in it too. So, Without further ado, it is my distinct privilege and honor to welcome our final awardee for this night's show, Mr. Ken Casey, to accept the award on behalf of the Dropkick Murphys.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with my fellow honorees and past honorees, and on behalf of such a fine group and on behalf of such a great legacy of Robert Kennedy. I said to him, I've only been awarded something like this twice. This is the second time, and it happened. The first one happened to be on this stage as well, in this very room. And there's two things in common between the two of them. One, I didn't write a speech the first time, and I didn't this time. And I said, I'll be fine. And my 11-year-old son leans over after Thaddeus and goes, "You're toast." And he's not kidding. Anyway, I'm just thrilled and honored to be in a position to be involved in service and charity. I've learned it from some amazing people in my life. Most of who are here now, my family, my mother, my 93-year-old grandmother who's always there, aunts, uncles, my beautiful wife, my children, and so many good friends. But I don't normally talk about personal stuff in my life, and in talking to Ed, he said, he knew some of the story of my life, and he said, can you share it, because it's so associated with what some of the children here go through. And part of my story is that when my father committed suicide in the home when I was 8, immediately family, friends, relatives, neighbors came to me and did for me and were good to me in a way that was kind of really transformative to me and got me through it. For the most part, got me through it, because shortly after that happened, I turned to alcohol and drugs, and I was victimized by that, to the age of 21. And at the age of 21, I turned to some other people, many of them are here in this room, and they helped me to stop using alcohol and drugs. And that was over 25 years ago, and I've been abstinent since. And the things that the people that taught me when they were helping me change my life and change the person I was at that age, they taught me about humility, gratitude, service, and love. And then I had the good fortune of this band, which I'll tell you, I was going to UMass to be a special ed teacher. I was bartending nights over at Symphony Hall, and there was a kid that went to Berkeley that bartended with me, and he said, "You're always talking about starting a band, but you never do it." And he said, "My band has a show in 3 weeks. I dare you to open for us." So on 3 weeks' notice, on a $30 bet, formed the Dropkick Murphys, and here we are 20 years later. And it was all the way back, right? But along the way, my other bandmates maybe didn't have the struggles I had, and didn't have to learn the lessons I learned the hard way. And I got to tip my hat to them, because for me, it was about giving back, because it was like a necessity to give back, to show the gratitude and pay back for the miracles that had happened in my life. And my poor bandmates are just, they're like, I just got into a band to play music and have like free beer, right? What's all this charity crap? But you know what, man, in 20 years, we've all learned that the joy is in the giving back. It really is, you know what I mean? And we're all so fortunate to be able to do that. It's such an honor, and the main reason I wanted to, accept this award, because one, the legacy of Robert Kennedy is amazing, and the work you folks do on behalf of his name is amazing. But I wanted to also do it on behalf of the people I mentioned that have supported me and everything all the crazy ideas I've come up with, and all the things that I do that take me away from you a lot of times, And I also wanted to do it on behalf of all the great people on our board, some of which are here tonight, great volunteers, some of which are here tonight, all the people who work so tirelessly, all the band's fans who are we have kids sending in their last $5, from their allowance, because they want to help the charity. And it's like, man, That's better than the company that writes a big check to me, you know what I mean? Because it's given, you know, it's showing the next generation how it's got to be done. So I'm just so grateful that I've had people like all of you guys in this room that have taught me that this is what you do. This is what you do. You help others, you know? Humility, gratitude, service, and love. Can we say that together? No, that's all. But, thank you very much. Great night. Great night.